Nonna,
Hi, Julius.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
You come just in time. I'm getting ready to make some risotto.
Okay.
So would you like to help me and have a look?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're starting now. So I've got everything ready here. I've got my stock ready, which is chicken stock.
Yep.
And I put, because I'm making pumpkin and gorgonzola and spinach risotto, so I'll put a little bit of pumpkin in the stock so it's nice and thick. So this is chicken stock that I made earlier.
Yep. Nonna, how much chicken stock is in there with the pumpkins?
Maybe a couple of litres
Yep.
of stock. I haven't measured, but
Yep.
that's probably how much it is. It's seasoned, so I don't need to put a lot of salt in risotto when I cook it. I've got some arborio rice there. I've got a kilo there. I'm making a lot, so it'll be enough for about probably 10 people. I've got 2 diced onions. I've got some roasted pumpkin. I've got some butter. I've got some Parmesan and some Parsley. And I have to get the spinach in a minute. I don't have them here. So we're starting the recipe by, I always use good extra virgin olive oil. I think it's the best flavor. So you need a nice heavy pan. This is pretty heavy. So I started making the risotto by pouring some a generous amount of olive oil. So that's about enough. Maybe it's about probably 6-8 tablespoons of olive oil. And I add my onions. And when I cook my onions for the risotto, I have to just cook them on slow, so I make sure it doesn't caramelize too much. I don't want the brown bits.
So you just you just
onions.
sweat them and make them translucent.
Yeah.
Not really brown.
Not brown. No, they don't need to be brown. So it takes just a few minutes to do that. So you can start it with the cold oil. It doesn't matter because.
Yep. It doesn't have to be too hot.
No. So that'd be all right. I use probably a glass of white wine. It doesn't matter which one it is, really, as long as it's a white wine. Or you can use vermouth if you like, but I don't have any today, so I won't use that. Just a dry vermouth. And with the wine, please don't use cheap wines because they say if the wine is not good to drink, you shouldn't cook with it. So make sure. I don't drink wine because I'm allergic to, but I always like to use green greens. So okay, the onions are squaring nicely, and it takes probably another couple of minutes to make them a little bit softer. Can you have a look at the onions? So nice, they're not brown or anything.
Not brown. Yep.
So it's ready for me to pour the rice in it. So this is the Arborio rice. I've got a lot here. So I can just put it all at once. And you have to make sure that you coat the rice with the oil. So it's all translucent and nice and shiny. You can see it's translucent.
Yeah, you can.
It's coated with olive oil. So you toast it a little bit, but don't make it go brown because it's burnt.
Yeah. And Nonna, so when did you learn to make this recipe?
Oh, this recipe we used to make it when I was very young. My mum used to make it.
And because so we're doing pumpkin and the
Gorgonzola
and
and spinach.
spinach. And those flavours They all contrast nicely together.
Yeah, that's vegetarian. So I'm using chicken stock, but you can use veggie stock if
Yep.
you want. So, see, I've got the rice nice and coated. Make sure it doesn't stick to the pan because it goes a bit brown otherwise. Can you see the rice there? It's nice and translucent, like covered with olive oil. So now I'm just pouring a little bit of wine first.
Around how much?
I'll put a glass, so about
a
I don't know,
glass.
100 ml or something, 150 ml. Smells nice. And I put the wine and I let it evaporate a little bit.
And you want to mix that all the way
You
through.
mix it all the way through and make sure you let it evaporate before you start adding your stock.
Yeah.
Now all the wine evaporates, so I'm ready to put in the stock. You need the stock to be nice and hot. Otherwise the rice, if you put cold stock, the rice cools down and all the starch starts to come out and it's all dry and yucky. So you need to put hot stock. So this lady is a bit small. I need to after a bit.
So do you want more of the pumpkin or more of the
Doesn't matter
stuff?
because it's going to dissolve in
Yeah.
the pumpkin. So see how it's coming nicely. Like some people say, you know, you've got to stay there and serve the rice all the time, but from my experience, you don't really have to stay there and stir every minute. Just give it a few minutes and then give it another stir. See how it's evaporating? Stop.
So, Nonna, what blue cheese are you using?
It's Gorgonzola dolce.
sorry.
Gorgonzola dolce, which is there's 3 different types of Gorgonzola cheese. There's Gorgonzola picante, which is a really strong one, and there's a medium one. This one it's a mild Gorgonzola, so it's not very strong. And let it cook a little bit. And when I make the risotto, some people just stir like this, really, really hard. No, it's not. At the end you do that, but when you cook risotto you don't do that. I just fold it nice and gently, just like that. Because you've got to feel, when you cook, you've got to feel the love of the food. So, because I think that if you don't love it, you won't get good results with food. Just add a little bit more stock.
So how many minutes around has this been cooking for?
That depends.
Depends on the...
Depends on the thickness. Depends which rice you use. But once you cook for about 10 minutes, just try a little bit. You can't overcook risotto because if you overcook it, it tastes yucky. So it always has to be al dente when you finish.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some baby spinach here that I washed and put, they're ready to go.
And that will be added at the end, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't wilt.
See, it's I'm using Arborio Rice because, like I said before, I like it. But you can use just normal short grain rice, and it doesn't have the same flavour. The best one is if you can. This is called Arborio Rice. There's a few different variety. This is called Vialone Nano, which is a smaller grain of rice, and I like it to make risotto because I think. And it's really nice. This type of rice is really nice if you make a seafood risotto or if you make chicken risotto. So it's really nice. See how it's coming thicker and expand a lot, the rice? It's cooking
It is,
nicely.
yeah.
have a look at the pan. See, I don't want it to stick to the pan,
Yeah.
so it's nice. And see, I need stock now because
Yeah.
otherwise, if you don't put stock, it start burning at the bottom. Add some more stock. And can you see how the pumpkin that are cooked in the stock, it's disintegrated?
It is, isn't it? You can't, there's not really large chunks
No,
or
it gives like a yellow colour
tinge. Yep.
and give us a nice like creamy texture with the, it's like you add some thick pumpkin soup once it's cooked. And you can see the onions, they're small, but you can see the onions there, see? They're nice and still nice. And Julius, you want to get a spoon and we'll try and see how...
I'll have a taste.
It's not cooked, is it?
No, but the flavour's nice.
It's a nice flavour. We should have timed how long it would take to make, but I think we've been going for about 20 minutes.
Probably.
Probably takes about half an hour,
Half an hour.
to cook it, yeah. Just put a little bit more
A bit
stock.
more. So when do we add the
At the
this
end,
pumpkin
when
at the
it's
end?
when it's ready, because remember the pumpkin there, it's cold now
Yeah.
because I baked it.
And the gorgonzola
Yeah.
and the spinach all at the
We
end.
do it at the end. At the last thing to do when you make risotto, it's at the end you put all your ingredients. Some people put raw ingredients, but I don't like raw ingredients in the risotto. I like to cook everything before
Yeah.
and then add them into that. And what do we have to do at the end? We have to like it's called mantecare the risotto, which means you got to stir it and get the gluten out of the rice, so it give you a nice creamy sort of sauce in the rice.
Yeah.
And that I'll show you in a minute how we do it. We just tried it before, and the rice is still al dente, too al dente. So we need to
Let it cook for a bit longer.
let it cook a little bit longer, but make sure that it's al dente, because if you realize the risotto, it's really hot. Once you turn the stove off, it still cooks. And if you wait for the risotto to be cooked, you have gluggy risotto.
Yeah. Because it's already been cooked at the end,
Yeah,
and it's
so-
still too hot, and it will keep cooking for.
Cooking, and then
We'll just go
becomes
to-
too gluggy.
Yeah,
And that's
go to
that.
glug.
You still have to be able to eat risotto with a fork,
Yeah.
not with a spoon.
No.
If you eat risotto with a spoon, it's not a really good risotto, because risotto you should eat it with a spoon. So risotto needs to be eaten with the fork, not with the spoon, because if you eat it with the spoon, it's too gluggy, and it's okay, but I don't like it. So it's better to be, and you have to be able to to see all the grains, not stuck one on top of the other.
Yeah, so they're still quite singular.
Yeah.
And Nonna, so how many I know you've made a lot of risottos in your lifetime, and you know, at your old shop you used to do classes as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I used to do cooking classes, and I used to do risotto classes and gnocchi classes, pasta making classes.
What were some of your favourite, flavours of risotto, apart from these?
The seafood risotto is really good, because you put all different type of seafood, and if you can get it fresh. Chicken and mushroom risotto, it's really good. And I'll put a touch of rosemary with the chicken.
Yeah, that
mushroom,
would be nice.
Which is really yummy. Yeah, you can put any caramelized pancetta and porcini mushroom, it's really yummy. Or just all assorted roast vegetables.
Yeah.
See that? It's nearly about ready.
Yep.
So this is the last ladle of
Yep. So you just
stock.
put one in.
Yeah, I'll put in. So now what I'm doing, I'm just lowering the heat, so because I don't want to cook too much, and I'm starting adding my spinach, which is just put them all at once. So it's all right. See, it's a bit dry. Can you see it's a little bit dry? So I add a little bit more stock in. The spinach cook really, really, really fast.
Yeah, it does. It just wilts
and
up.
they go to nothing, so you can
They
put
do.
as much as you like. See, that's the only thing that was raw, the spinach.
Yeah.
All my other ingredients are cooked. So now I'm going to add some pumpkin. It's probably too much, so I'm just using half.
And that pumpkin's just being roasted?
Roasted,
Yeah.
yeah, just roasted. See, it's nice and now I'm going to add my cheese. You need probably about 300 grams of Gorgonzola or any other cheese that you like to put. I don't like Gorgonzola with Now, you know what I'm doing now? I'm just turning the heat off because I don't want to cook anymore because it's still cooking in there.
It will be, yeah.
And I've got the stock ready there. So see how the Gorgonzola, it's melting?
to melt.
See, it makes a really nice, yummy, see how it's lovely? Okay, now I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese.
And that's just for flavour, isn't it?
It goes really well with the pumpkin and the other cheese.
Yeah. That also makes it creamier, doesn't it?
Now we have to, we need to, it's called Monticata, which is stir it until you get a nice creamy texture. So by doing that, you need some butter.
So how much is there? Around?
About probably 60, 70 grams of butter. So I'll put some butter in there, which is room temperature. And I start to Monticata the rice. So I'll start from the middle and I'll go like this. Can you see how it's started to get creamy?
It does, doesn't it? Look at that.
And I'll go until the rice is coated with the... That's the only time I stir it like that really fast, so... See the butter, it's all melted and comes nice and creamy. Looks yummy. So that's about right. If you want the risotto to be a bit softer, you can add a little bit more stock, but I think that's the best, it's the nice texture. So I'll eat a little bit of parsley as well. And I just have a taste, see how if it's got enough seasoning. It needs a tiny little bit more salt. Like a couple of pinches or so. Because like I said before, the stock was already seasoned.
Yeah.
So it's ready. Hopefully you enjoy my recipe and you can subscribe to us. Et voilà, bon appetito!